During the pandemic, Kim and I bought a 28-foot Class C motorhome, small enough to fit inside our hangar when we were not using it. A few months later, we added a smart car to tow behind it, and that launched a series of 6 major trips, including the one we are on now. Those trips have been full of amazing adventures. From 2021 to 2026, we took 6 major motorhome trips, towing our smart car behind us. Over those trips, we managed to visit every one of the lower 48 states, along with 5 Canadian provinces: Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, and Ontario. This 6th trip completed the map. This video is from our 6th motorhome trip across this amazing and beautiful continent and through these United States of America. I am not entirely certain, but I think this is the bridge going over the Colorado River, with just right adjacent to the Hoover Dam. We are in Las Vegas. We have our own dog pen, and next to a place here called Sam's Town. It's apparently a casino and other good odds and ends. Off in the distance you can see mountains, and we're in Las Vegas, maybe 20 minutes from the Strip and the Sphere and all that good stuff. So we're gonna cook out some steak, stay here tonight. Okay, our car is right there. That is north, and we are on 5C, and that is south. So that should help us out a little bit. We drove into Las Vegas and parked at the Venetian, then took a few minutes to get our bearings so we would not get turned around in the middle of the Strip. Vegas is its own kind of place. Everything is oversized, lit up, and designed to pull your attention in every direction at once. We walked along the main Strip for a while, taking in the hotels, crowds, street performers, music, traffic, and the strange mix of beauty and excess that defines the city. It is not exactly subtle, but subtle is not what Las Vegas is trying to be. It is spectacle, built in the desert, and whether you love it or just stand there shaking your head, it is hard not to look. Later, we made our way toward the Sphere for the Wizard of Oz show, which was the real reason we came into town. Looks like a future hard rock here that they're building. It's a pretty amazing building, as many of them are. Well, technically we are off the Strip here, about 500 feet or 300 feet. I think each one of those Ferris wheel chair sections is fully air conditioned, full penthouse setup probably, right? So we're now in the Harrah's. Went by a standard bar. These are 2 very simple bourbons, like 1 ounce of bourbon, I believe it is, water and ice. We'll sip this for a while and we'll be very comfortable. $50. They say Las Vegas is empty. It's not. Lots of people here enjoying themselves like normal, gambling. Right there, you can win $389,000, $979.23. Not. This is a lazy man's way of getting to the Sphere. You're not allowed to walk. You gotta just hang and enjoy. The outside of the Sphere is almost a show by itself. The whole building becomes a giant moving display, wrapping images around the round surface in a way that feels unreal from the street. In a city already built on lights and spectacle, the Sphere still manages to stand out. So we are officially in the Sphere here. Inside the Sphere, before you even get into the theater, the building already feels futuristic. The lobbies are huge, curved, and full of moving displays, gift shops, and of course wildly overpriced treats. But the architecture is the real show. Everything feels smooth, massive, and engineered to make you look up. So we're heading up to section 304. There's supposed to be some robots in here, but they got rid of those, so no robots. $8 water. Man, it's dazzling to the eye, though. You notice? Look at these amazing curves they got. Heading up to section 300. Wondering on the 300 level over to 304, which I see right there. Right there, Kim. Entering the actual theater up in section 300, the whole forward part of the sphere looked like a grand stage. Row 7, Kim. You're 15 now. There were hanging speakers, a backstage orchestra tuning up, and all the little details your eye expects to see in a real performance space. But it was all fake, projected onto the curved spherical surface, and you had to study it for a while before your brain finally accepted that none of it was actually there. Well, there we are, 7 and 8, and that's basically our view. We're off to the side. We're at a real good, they say that we're at a really good area for haptics, but we're obviously not in the center. We paid about, how much did we pay? $348 for these two seats, and that was done on a discount system. If we'd bought it at the window, it would have been around $550. And those seats over there in the center we're creeping up to into the 800, 900 to 1,000 range. We are waiting for the show to start. This looks like a stage with speakers and curtain and a typical type public setting here. But all this is really an image that's been placed on a screen. And this whole thing will turn into something pretty big when the show starts. I am looking right over my head, straight up. Now I'm going to kind of move down so you can kind of get an idea. Those are all fake images that look like they're sitting on they're like real, with a stage curtain, lights, a stage down there, seats, and all that is projected image onto this big screen in front of us. They even have a mock orchestra down there, like guys that are tuning their instruments and sitting waiting to get started with the show, all playing their own thing, totally uncoordinated. I cannot show much of the actual presentation for copyright reasons, so I will leave it at this. The Wizard of Oz show at the Sphere was beyond expectations. There is no way to fully predict the experience from the outside. The visuals wrap around you. The sound is massive. The seats respond with haptics, and at one point, falling leaves become part of the room. It is not just a movie or a show, it is a fully immersive experience. I can't tell what those are.
Those are the flying monkeys.
Everybody's moving on out, and we're kind of hanging back a little bit. But those things we were just seeing were the monkeys. I didn't realize that the monkeys, 4 of them, were actually 3D real life. It's pretty amazing. The Sphere is an engineering wonder, but economically it is a very expensive experiment. The Las Vegas venue reportedly cost about $2.3 billion to build, and early operations brought real losses. But the revenue potential is huge. Recent reports show strong growth from the Las Vegas venue, with quarterly revenue around $266 million, and the Wizard of Oz show reportedly passing $130 million in ticket sales. I hope it works long term, because for all the cost and risk, it is a true display of human ingenuity. We're over at Sam's Town. A couple quick walking distance from our campsite, and we discovered this amazing place. This is actually a hotel. At the very top, that is a large skylight that allows this whole place to be environmentally controlled and dry, I guess, during the rare periods of rain. But has that kind of a Doha airport look, just very beautifully done. Down at Fremont Street here in Vegas, about 7:30. We're heading over to a place where we can drop some actual quarters into a slot machine and give it a try. So hopefully they're still doing it with quarters. We'll see. So we're told 4 Queens. We'll go in there and find out. 4 Queens was kind of a bust. We found 2 old-style quarter slot machines, but they were either taken or being closely guarded by people who knew what they had. So we decided to risk $20 in the regular slots with a hard rule: if we got to 40, we would walk. That plan lasted about 8 pulls and the 20 was gone. Years ago, I knew my basic blackjack strategy pretty well, but that was a long time ago and I was not about to relearn it at a live table in Vegas. Still, Fremont Street was worth seeing. It is old Vegas, loud, bright, strange, crowded, and a little rough around the edges, but full of character. We've driven from Las Vegas down to see the Hoover Dam, and we're in the parking structure. An amazing piece of a human accomplishment. Now we are down in the bowels of Hoover Dam now. Going through some tunnels, going to go look at some diversion tunnels here. These great big pipes that I think they manufactured locally. These diverging pipes were part of the diversion system, carrying Colorado River water around the dam site so workers could build Hoover Dam in the dry canyon. At Hoover Dam, we were on the west or Nevada side of the generator room. The dam's power plant is split into 2 wings with 8 large generators on the Nevada side and 9 generators on the Arizona side, because 2 smaller units were installed there instead of 1 large one. Altogether, the plant can produce a little over 2,000 megawatts under good conditions, with most of the large units rated around 127 to 130 megawatts each. Water from Lake Mead enters the intake towers, drops through huge penstocks, spins the turbines, and then returns to the Colorado River below. The dam is still operating, but low lake levels reduce both water pressure and output. If Lake Mead falls too low, near minimum power pool, they have to shut down generation because there is not enough usable head to safely and effectively run the turbines. We are heading towards one of the inspection holes. This is a hole which looks very little along the side of the dam on the low side. But as you can see, it's actually quite large. From the inside, we'll be able to look out and look down. We're about halfway up the dam face right now. From this orientation, the water, the Lake Mead is that way, and downstream is that way. So these are just inspection holes along the mid part of the dam. On the edge here, we got these are expansion joints. And if they see a crack, they'll date it. Like there was one we saw that was dated 1943, and they're looking for delta for change on that. Inside Hoover Dam, these steep, roughly 45-degree stairs provide access through the dam's internal inspection galleries. From here, we are looking downstream below Hoover Dam with the bypass bridge we crossed earlier, spanning the canyon above the river. The view gives a real sense of scale and how far below us the Colorado River sits. From this point, the river flows south toward Lake Mojave, while the Grand Canyon is actually upstream, roughly 70 to 100 miles away, depending on the route. Just to give a little bit of context here, you see where the water line is. Twice since the dam was built. I think one of them, the last one, might have been in 1983, which would have been after the first time I was ever here. That was a spillway right there, so the water went over the top and it ran for 56 days because the lake had gotten so high they had to drain it off. So that's where it was at that date, and this is where it is now. I understand it's something like 34% capacity if you look at it by volume. So quite a surprising reduction in level of this Lake Mead. Lake Mead's falling water level has created a serious problem. The first thing lost is power generation. As the lake drops, the dam has less pressure or head to spin the turbines, and if it gets too low, the generators have to be shut down. But the top priority is still water supply, especially for Las Vegas. To protect that, Southern Nevada built a deep intake tunnel, drawing water from about elevation 860 feet. That project went into operation in late 2015, giving Las Vegas access to water, even if the lake falls far below the old intake levels. Plaques around Hoover Dam honor the men who lost their lives building this massive project. Their sacrifice is part of the dam's story. One can actually see this thing being viewed 2,000 years from now, just like the Great Pyramids are today. It's very hard to figure what and if this world will be at that time.